All right, another episode of Conversate After Dark. Tay, what's up with you?
Everything's great with me. What's going on with you?
It's all good. It's all good. Tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversates After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or you have a topic you want us to cover, you can reach us at CVAD, the podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Listen to our old episodes. And make sure you tell people about the show so we get the subscribers up. Tay, let's do the icebreaker.
Okay. Which you have any preference?
Extreme personal questions.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. What's the sappiest thing you have ever written someone?
Sappiest thing. I would say as a kid, taking like song lyrics and like writing them down and sending to a girl. I did that when I was like in middle school. That's pretty sappy. I think the other thing would be um, being on like a beach location without her and writing her name in the sand and taking a picture of it and sending it to her. That's probably the sappiest thing I've done.
Okay.
But they were all appreciated though, but it was still sappy.
Yeah, sure. So I used to write poetry back in the day, way, way, way back in the day.
Uh,
And the poem itself wasn't sappy. What made it sappy is that I used my ex's name as the first letter of each line.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but to me it's sappy. But you know, actually I don't think anyone ever realized that it was his name, but I know it's his name. So yeah, to me that makes it sappy.
So it wasn't obvious that it spelled out his name.
If you look at it, like if you look at it written,
Yeah.
it was. But when I performed it, you couldn't tell.
Did he know?
I gave it to him. I don't even know. I'm sure he could have figured it out. He's pretty smart. But we never talked about it.
Do you regret it? I mean, obviously y'all not together no more, right?
No, no, not
Do you
together.
regret it?
No, because I actually like the poem. So, and in the movie Five Heartbeats, uh, Duck has this line where he says, someone told him, or a critic told him, that he would be a great writer one day once he suffered. And I always consider that relationship my toxic relationship. And I have the majority of my poetry came from some of the hurt and some of the love that I experienced in that relationship.
Okay. So you think that relationship sparks creativity? And, people say that though, because like, people, my favorite artist, Mary J. Blige, a lot of
Hmm.
people say she's really making good music when she's hurt.
Hmm.
But when she's happy, the music is this. Yeah. Do you feel like that's true for a lot of people?
I do, and maybe it's because I've experienced that. Maybe that's why I feel that way.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it can contribute.
Yeah, I think the creativity and the drive, I think in everything. Like I'm a big boxing fan.
Hmm.
And they say it often is like once people hit the championship, like once you get the belt, you're less hungry. You're less hungry because, I don't know if you remember Rocky and
Hmm.
with Mr. T was clubbing lame. He was like, you sleeping on satin sheets, waking up in the mansion, you're not as hungry anymore. And I
Right.
think to me, not just Mary J. Blige, but a lot of artists. I think one in particular, like Anthony Hamilton. Like when he first
Hmm.
came out, his first album, there was a lot of heartache, and you could tell he could just like put his soul up into that record. And
Right.
then he still made good music, but he never really captured that again.
Exactly. And I can honestly say, like, I've stopped writing because I don't have the inspiration anymore. Now, I don't want to contribute all of that to him, but I guess those feelings that I experienced within that, I don't have that anymore. So,
Janine says, I make my most beautiful jewelry when I'm in love, but write my best poetry when I'm sad. Wow. Okay. All right. All right. That's fortunate but unfortunate. But I think a lot of that goes to a lot of people can relate to heartache
hmm.
because unfortunately it's common in relationships.
Right.
Going back to, the book Tay and I read, Attached, when you're single, you're more likely to encounter somebody who's not ready to settle down, not secure in a relationship, because most people who are secure in relationships, they in a relationship. So you got to try to weed through all of those, all of those avoidant people, all of those insecure people till you
Mhm.
find somebody that you can really be, secure with. So it makes sense. It makes,
Either they're in relationships or they're secure in being by themselves, so they're not looking for one.
which I think would be me, but that would be me. But that's for another day, another day. So Tay,
Hmm.
and we don't like to date the show, but today is February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day.
Right.
I saw on social media a lot of women, sisters, voice their displeasure or their unwillingness to be in a relationship with someone that does not celebrate Valentine's Day. They were like, if a guy says he doesn't do holidays like Valentine's Day, he's not for me. I want to be made to feel special. And if he can't do that, then we're not compatible. And it kind of blew my mind because I'm a person that I don't really do commercialized holidays. Like we can go out, we can hang out, we can fellowship, but the whole gift giving piece, that's where I kind of stray away from that whole idea, just because it's commercialized. Like, why do we have to pick this one particular day to do this? And I saw where a lot of sisters were like, "Nah, I'm not with that. You're going to celebrate this day. You're going to make me feel special on Valentine's Day." Do you agree with them? And is this something that's just new to me or something that you've always heard from women?
I've heard it a lot. And I'm not one who is big on Valentine's Day. Never have been. Um, but I do believe that if somebody wants to celebrate it, why not? I mean, it doesn't really take much. But and also in relationships, we have to compromise. First of all, if you really want to celebrate Valentine's Day, don't date somebody who doesn't want to celebrate it. I
Right.
mean, if it's that important to you, then you need to find somebody who wants to celebrate it also, or who doesn't mind celebrating it. But say you're into the relationship and you don't want to let it go just for that reason. Okay. I think both sides may need to compromise a little with each other. I mean, maybe this year we celebrate it, next year we don't. Something like that. Or, maybe you can settle for something small versus this big elaborate thing for Valentine's Day. But I don't think people who want to celebrate it should be demeaned for it, and I don't think people who don't want to celebrate it should be demeaned.
Kimberly says you have to compromise for your partner sometimes. And all the ladies, Kimberly, Danielle, and Janine say exactly Tay, period, Tay. So you're saying exactly what they think. And Janine also says I'm not a big Valentine's Day person, but if my partner was, I would. I think most people, from my perspective, who say they don't do Valentine's Day tend to be men
Mm,
because I think that Valentine's Day is something that when I think of it, it's very rarely is it the woman doing something for the man. Um, I envision it as okay, I'm sending roses to her job, I'm buying chocolates, I'm doing, these things that are romantic on this day. And I don't know, just for me, the pressure that it puts on some people financially to participate in this man-made holiday, to me, is just I rebel against it.
mm,
Now, I think you make a good point. You probably need to discuss this as soon as you get into the relationship. But I think too often we get into the relationship and then it gets to be late January, and then she asks the question, "So, what are we doing on Valentine's Day?" And then you spring it on her. I don't really do Valentine's Day.
mm,
And then it's that awkwardness, especially if she wants to do it. And
right.
I get people say, "Hey, listen, well, sometimes you have to compromise." But would you want somebody to do that and it's inauthentic?
Yes and no. So there are a lot of times that we do things we don't necessarily want to do, but we do them because we know that it's what our partner wants or it's what our partner likes to do. Or we may participate in their favorite pastime because we know that's their favorite thing. And it's not that you enjoy it. Like, I mean, for instance, I went fishing with an ex and his mother. I don't care about fishing. That ain't my thing. But it was something that they like to do together. They invited me. I went. I enjoyed myself. But I mean, sometimes you do those things just to make your partner happy.
But sometimes it's a matter of principle, though. And for me, that's what it is. Yeah, I can acquiesce and be like, let me go ahead and buy some flowers. Let me go ahead and buy, a teddy bear and some chocolate or whatever. But if my heart's not really into it,
Hmm.
to me, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it's sort of like, okay, and I know this might be extreme, but I think you'll get my point. It's like if I tell my woman, hey, listen, I really want some oral sex tonight. Can you give it to me? And she does it, but she's just going through the motions. You might as well not do it because it's not genuine and you're not really, there's no feelings behind it. It's just you're just going through the motions to try to shut me up. And that's why I feel like, do you really want somebody just to do it just because it's what you want to do?
I hear what you're saying, and I agree. But I also think there are times when we just have to bite our tongue, grit our teeth, whatever the saying is, and do things that we know will please our partner. Now, again, if it's something that by principle, which I kind of don't understand because all holidays are man-made, all holidays have become commercialized, all holidays they want you to spend money, do things you really don't want to do. But if it's really, really a big issue, that's where communication comes in. That's where compromise comes in. You have to talk about it.
And I feel that way about all holidays, Christmas as well. I don't do gifts on Christmas, and I think that's probably a bigger deal than Valentine's Day for a lot of people
Right.
as well. And that's definitely a difficult conversation that I have to have with folks. Again, I don't mind spending time and fellowshipping, but I'm just not going to do the gift giving, and that might be a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let me also say, even as somebody who does not really care about the holiday at all, I have celebrated, I have participated in it. I do not think it's right that women don't also give their man a gift, and I'm not talking about sex.
right.
I am talking about actual gifts or experiences. Take him to dinner, do something to show, because it's supposed to be about love. It's not really supposed to be about just women. It's really supposed to be about love. So if it's about love, you need to show your love too.
Yeah. So the point that people were making was if a guy doesn't do Valentine's Day, then basically he doesn't want to put forth effort. And what that means is throughout the relationship, he's not going to put forth an effort to make you feel special. My contention to that was like, okay, I don't do the commercial holidays, but your birthday, I'm going to go all out for you. Your birthday, listen, gifts, we're going to celebrate, we're going to kick it. We may go on a trip. To me, your birthday is your day. And that's when I do that. And the response was imagine having to wait just one day out of the year to be made to feel special. And that type of response, I said, okay, well, I guess that means you need to have the discussion about love languages
Hmm.
much sooner because it sounds like gift giving is a very big part of your love language. And if that's the case, then y'all need to talk about the compatibility and how can I satisfy that love language for you.
It could be a love language thing, if their love language is gift giving, but it could just be that, just like Christmas, Valentine's Day is hyped up. All the commercials, all of the stores. I mean, everybody's hyping it up, and it's like sometimes people just want to participate just to participate.
How much of it is competition? How much of it is, I'm at work in the office and Jane just got this beautiful bouquet of flowers with balloons attached and a fruit tray and everything else, and I didn't get nothing. How much of it is that?
A lot of it is that. A lot of it is that. And I can say sometimes even on the guy side that it can be an ego thing too. Because I remember one of my exes sent me flowers to my job, and his statement, and it wasn't for Valentine's Day, it was just the regular Tuesday or whatever. But his thing was he wanted people at my job to be jealous. Now I've always worked in the predominantly male dominated field. Who you trying to make jealous? Well,
That
I
that
mean,
that that was him peeing on your tree. That
exactly.
was him
Which
saying that was his marking his territory.
everybody there knew him anyway. I mean, I won't say I was the only female. There were women who worked there, but I mean, so sometimes it can be an ego thing for the men too.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what they got to say in the chat. So Danielle said definitely should give more than coochie purse. So ladies, definitely don't just give up the coochie for Valentine's Day. Kimberly says guys should have reminded the ladies that this is a leap year and he was supposed to be the recipient. Okay, I didn't know that. Janine said my coworkers used to say, "What did you get?" I would say I pull up to it every night. Now they get it. So I guess what she means is the man that she's with is romantic throughout the year. And for me, I've always struggled with the term.
Or she could mean a house, so she has the house emoji there.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I've always struggled with the concept of romance, because I don't feel like I don't have really a romantic side. To me, I feel like my expression of love for you is me protecting you all the time, me thinking about your well-being all the time, constantly thinking about how can I make your life easier. And to me, that's more of a pure form of love than buying some roses and some candy. Maybe some people need both, but to me, that's the romance I give, and I guess that's an act of service in
Hmm.
me and how I show love. But some guys just aren't romantic, and I think I may be one of them. But I don't think that that means that I'm less loving than somebody who does.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Janine said, yes, Marv. So she appreciates that. She appreciates that. Danielle said, I always found it to be non-personal to me. I don't even like roses and most chocolates. I love the holiday now, but only because any day that focuses people to reflect on loving someone is needed in this world. I get that. I
Yeah.
get that. I get that. So you think that's something that could be overcome if you don't do Valentine? Because what I'm hearing is sometimes you got to compromise.
Hmm.
And I get that. And to me, that goes back to that happy wife, happy life.
Hmm.
When does the guy's perspective come into play? When do his feelings become honored, his wishes? Because, like I said, I'm not really a romantic guy. Why am I being dismissed or diminished because I don't want to participate in Valentine's Day or give gifts on Christmas?
Well, I go back to the very first thing I said was when I first mentioned compromise, the very first thing I said was maybe this year we'll celebrate it, maybe this year we won't. So in that way, both people's perspectives are being acknowledged.
Now, do you really think women gonna go along with that?
I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I know, like I said, I'm not big on it, but there have been times I've celebrated it within the same relationship. There have been years where we've celebrated and years we didn't. It didn't make me no difference either way. But again, Valentine's Day is not a big deal for me. So I can't speak for them, for people who it is a big deal for.
What if he told you, let's celebrate on February 15th? Like, hey, crowds kind of, the restaurants are busy, everything is higher on the 14th. Let's just celebrate the day after. Would you be a little bit suspicious?
Definitely, because I know what the 15th represents.
What's the 15th side piece day, right?
Right, National Side Piece Day. So if I ever meet a guy and he proposes that, yeah, I'm gonna be suspicious. And I'm gonna put on my detective hat like I've done before and go snooping.
Maybe he's just cost conscientious and he wants to save money.
If he is, that will show within him throughout the year. So that would not surprise me just on that day.
Mm. You know, it's a funny story. My dad, on the 15th, he would always go to like Walmart or CVS and buy a bunch of chocolates and stuff and bring them
Hmm.
home to my mom. And he was like, I got you a bunch of chocolates and stuff. Of course, you know, the day after they usually like 50% off or whatever. And she saw the humor in it because he, you know, he was much like me. Um, I know that I express love to my family because I'm a lot like him because that's what I saw.
Hmm.
You know, serving my family, you know, doing all the things that, you know, your children and your wife needs. But she saw the humor in it. But it's funny how the 15th has come into side piece day. You know, I, I want to ask you a personal question.
Go ahead.
I'll cut it out if we need to cut it out.
Okay.
You ever been a side piece?
I have. I have no problem saying that.
Knowingly, have you knowingly been a side piece?
Yes, knowingly, I have.
Okay.
And I don't I don't remember that being like an option, but if it had been, I would have declined it.
What, going out on the 15th?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I already knew what I was, so it wasn't like it needed to be broadcast to me. This is what you are. No, we good, we good. I don't need again. It's not even a day that I celebrate. So no, I don't need to be reminded of my place. I know my place, and I know how to play my positions well.
I think that most side pieces don't expect gifts on the holiday.
I think it depends on your relationships because people be catching feelings for their side pieces too. So I won't say expect it, but I think some people do give their side pieces Valentine's gifts.
I would say so because a lot of guys is out here tricking, you know.
Hmm.
So they definitely. But you know, I said in the past though, you know, your main side piece, there's a lot of love there. There's a whole lot of love there. You know, have you ever had a side piece?
No, I haven't. I mean, I guess if you could say when I was in college, but it wasn't like one man guy, so I don't think that was a side piece. So no, no.
Do women like side dudes? Do women like having side dudes? In your opinion?
I know a couple who have had them. So I mean, to me, the way my mind thinks men and women are the same. I know women who've had side pieces too, so and men who've been side pieces. So
I think that women who play the side piece role, this my opinion. Women who play the side piece role know how to do it better than guys when playing the side piece role. If you're honest, as a man, if you're honest with her and you're not trying to mislead her, or, you know, I talked about that. Pretty much, if you tell a woman, hey, this is what's up, either she's gonna mess with it or she's not. It's when you lie to them, that's when they start busting out your windows and sending emails to your wife's job and that type of old shit. From what I've seen, guys kind of struggle being in that side piece role because I think that competition comes into play. Now, there's some dudes who are smart and they're like,
mhm.
listen, I get to have fun with you, and then send you right back to him, and he can argue with you. He can pay your bills and all that. Hey, you need to stay with him and just let me be Mr. Side Piece. But there's some dudes who got to push the envelope, and I don't think you see women doing that as much as dudes.
Can't agree with that
Okay,
because most of the stories we hear about side chicks, I'm not talking about the ones that are deceived. I'm talking about the ones who know. Most of the stories we hear about them, they're calling up the woman. They done got pregnant. They done started some mess. They want him for themselves. Then they get him. Then some other chick done took their side piece place. Like it's many stories out there. So no, I think
that's why you gotta get somebody that got something to lose.
true,
You just can't have anybody in that side piece role. You gotta get
true.
somebody with some shit to lose.
Right. I hate to say this in this respect, but it goes back to even being able to have casual sex or not. You have to know yourself. And a lot of times, even if you tell somebody the truth of what the situation is, they'll lie to themselves and say, I can handle this. And then months down the road, couple years down the road, whatever, they can't, and now you got a problem on your hand.
But I mean, once you agree to the terms,
Hmm.
yeah, you can say I no longer want to participate. But to try to blow up somebody's spot because your feelings are hurt or you in over your head, I think that's wrong.
It definitely is wrong, but it happens. It happens a lot, and the most of the time I hear it not working. It's because the woman, the side piece woman, is the one that's messing it up.
CJ said you have to know the rules and govern yourself accordingly. She says she likes a side with a biscuit. Yeah, a lot of people, we talk about non-monogamy a
Mhm.
lot, and we get a lot of frowns and I could never do that. I could never do that, right? I'm gonna tell my business here. A lot of times when you talk about non-monogamy with somebody and they say they could never do it, but then they still hang out with you, they still, want to spend time with you, even though they say, well, I can't go all the way there with you, but I can spend time with you. I mean, you kind of are giving tacit approval to the non-monogamy,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So I don't know. I hope that, the side pieces, is side piece a derogatory term?
I mean, I think some people will look at it that way. I don't know. It depends on the person.
What's a better way of saying it? Mistress?
It's just
What do you call the dude? What's the
sounds
dude?
classier.
What's the dude that's on the side?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've never heard a term for a guy. I guess because within history, we know about more men having, the side family and all that stuff. So, but we don't hear a lot about the men being on the side. So I don't know. I've never heard a name for
I guess it's just gonna be side dude.
him.
I guess it's just gonna be side dude. So,
Right.
hey, but it's a dangerous game for dudes though.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of guys, if you're gonna play that role, you need to really like play it the right way because especially if you mess with somebody who's married.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. I've said it on the show before. I'm sure I have. Cause I say it all the time. You can talk about a man's mom, probably talk about his kids, but when you mess with his wife,
Hmm.
you mess around and get killed, and that's just real. That's real. Unfortunately, I've seen it happen to a friend of mine, a friend of a friend. It's dangerous messing with a man's wife. Now, if it's just his girlfriend or whatever, okay, you might, fair play, right? But your wife, that's a dangerous game, my dude. Real
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah. I've heard of that happening.
Yeah.
Somebody's main girlfriend and you mess with her. Yeah.
Danielle said very dangerous. It is. It is. You think it's as dangerous for women as it is men?
Um, no. From the stories I've heard, I think it's more dangerous for the men, but I mean, there's a show called Snapped for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some wives out here who snap, so
Wow.
it
Yeah.
happens.
Danielle said, yeah, very dangerous. Janine said, most people practice serial monogamy anyway, but they're not ready for that conversation. Bishop been married 35 years, but had three girlfriends in there somewhere along the line. Okay. All right. Let me ask this. You think women cheat more than men, or is it equal?
I think it's equal.
You do?
Yeah, I think it's equal, and I think women can sometimes be better at it, so we don't hear about it as much. But
What makes y'all better at it?
I said this last time. I don't even remember what we were talking about last time, but we pay attention to details most of the time. Most of the time, we pay attention to the very little details, which is most of the time how we can catch a man cheating on us is because we usually pay attention to the smallest details.
What's one detail that you would pick up on? Give us some game.
If I was being cheated on, or if I was the
Cheated on.
cheater
Cheated on.
on, a lot of times patterns change. Because even if somebody tries not to be a creature of habit, we are creatures of habit, and you can usually tell. Um, like I mentioned the next years ago, he had a lot of things that were coincidences, but it was too many coincidences. And is that a word? Coincidences?
Too many coincidences. Yep.
Too many coincidences, like within a short period of time. You know, something, I'm not stupid. Something was wrong.
Sometimes y'all can overreact though. I was in a situation where we hadn't had sex in a minute. And we were in the act, we were in the middle of the act, and right in the middle, I could tell her energy shifted while we were doing it. Because in her mind, I was taking too long. And not because, you know, it's like, all right, I'm tired or whatever. But in her mind is, if we haven't done it in a while, you shouldn't be lasting this long. So obviously, you fucking somebody else. And that
Yeah.
actually ended up being a discussion during sex. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she was just like, who you been fucking? You know what I'm saying? So like in mid-session, it turns into like a, what do you mean? And I mean, I was, but that wasn't the reason why I was, that wasn't the reason why I was lasting. There's multiple reasons why a guy can last longer than he normally does. You know, there's
Okay.
multiple reasons. But sometimes y'all be tripping though. Have you ever paid attention to that? How long he lasts?
No, because I'm usually looking for it to last longer. So, so no.
So TJ said, dressing differently, different frequencies, different places, activities, the routine changes.
Yes.
Mm. Janine, patterns change,
Mm-hmm.
stroke change.
I've never experienced that. Well, I've never experienced that with a cheater and thinking that that meant, you know,
He learned something different from somebody else.
yeah. I mean, because I'm always, maybe because that's just me. I'm always trying to learn new stuff. I haven't, haven't in a while, but I'm always trying to learn something new. So I'm always trying stuff. So we tend to think everybody is like we are. So that wouldn't make me suspicious, but pattern changes definitely.
So trying, so like he just said, trying different things sexually. That wouldn't make you think they were cheating.
That wouldn't make me think that. No. But again, that's just me.
I think that may have come up in the past. Like, you know, somebody may be like, "Where's this coming from? Like, why do
Yeah.
you all of a sudden want to do this?" But I wouldn't necessarily associate that with cheating.
Hmm.
I'll take that back. I might. If I'm doing it one way and then all of a sudden she was like, hey, yo, hit it this way. And we've been together for a while, I might be like, oh, fuck, you know, that feels better. Am I tripping?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question because again, that wouldn't necessarily make me suspicious.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Janine said,
everyday life is more to make me suspicious than actual sex.
gotcha. Janine said, when you have been with someone for 20 plus years, you definitely know. I agree. I agree. I agree. So happy side piece day to everybody again. We don't like to date the show, but hopefully, you know, your special person showed you some love. You got what your heart's desire, and hopefully, I just like the fact that again, this man-made holiday, this commercialized holiday, has created more division between black men and black women.
I
Because
agree.
it seems as if that's because you know the people that were making those comments, of course, guys were like, well, why I gotta do this on this day, you know, and it's another thing that you know people are arguing about or debating when we really need to be trying to come together. So like Danielle's point, you know, celebrating something that you know makes people focus on loving one another. Maybe it's something that we probably should do, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it, and I hope it doesn't create a problem for whoever I'm with. But Tay, you got a would you or would you not or nasty or normal before we end the show?
I have one. It's kind of basic, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Making love in the rain, nasty or normal, or would you or wouldn't you?
It's definitely not nasty. I don't think it's normal, so I wouldn't say that applies. I definitely would just you know to do something different. I think it would be sexy. I think it would be romantic. It would be adventurous. Um, I've danced in the rain. And that was super. I was on, South Beach in Miami, and the storm came in. It was a bunch of us, and a bunch of women, and some of the women was like, "Hey, we want to dance." So some of us, who could, we went out and we danced in the rain, and it's like it was free. It was free, and it was just like, oh, what the hell, And yeah, you're getting soaked, but you're having a good time. So I could see how having sex with somebody in the rain could definitely be an enjoyable experience. Would you do it?
I have done it. I have some pointers for people.
What's the
Make sure
pointers, Tay?
make sure it's a warm summer rain, not cold. Also, make sure it's kind of a light rain and not a heavy downpour.
Yeah.
Those are my pointers.
How many times you done fucked in the
Oh,
rain, Tay?
and oh, this is all in the same session. Also, maybe y'all should do it like in a chair because somebody on their back is getting all of that rain. Those are my pointers.
That's funny. Sorry, before we head out, let's see what they got to say. TJ said, I don't celebrate anything. I celebrate having a random good day. That's cause for celebration to me. Amen.
I agree.
Danielle said normal and would. Now here she's talking about having sex in the rain.
Mhm.
TJ said outdoor shower. Most definitely would do. Um, Janine, done it and definitely look forward to it again. Danced in Jamaica. It was wonderful. And TJ says slippery when wet. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, definitely. I think that's probably something I should put on the bucket list or something to do. Was
Oh,
it enjoyable, Tay?
I had a good time. TJ put in another suggestion. Pass on the lotion beforehand too. Yes, I agree.
Why is that? To make you fall or something?
Makes it slipperier, slipperier,
More slippery?
more
Yeah,
slippery.
I got you. I got you. I got you back. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm an Ashy Rascal anyway, so it's all good for me. But anyway, we appreciate y'all in the chat. Tell me where they can find us.
You can find us at Conversate After Dark everywhere. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, you have a topic you want us to cover, a story you want us to read, you can reach us at CVAD the podcast at gmail.com. Make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
That's right. Go to our website, www.conversateafterdark.com. Check out the past episodes. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Bye.